And to the bishop and all the, should I say, deacons, captains, and lieutenants of this camp. I'm really impressed with the work that you're doing here, the accomplishments you have made, and the dedication that you have for the development of the black family in America. This is what we need, and I see that you are at work trying to do your best to carry that out. This is where camps like this, we can begin to save our families and our youth, and the black youth in the United States of America. This is what we need. And we all need to just put our shoulders to the wheel and just work harder at it and make that national impact. Because we need unity and family, and if we expedite this, we can save our youth. And I want to give congratulations to all of you. I know it took a lot of work to put this program into operation, but I say to you, keep working, and I know that you will be successful. This is a movement. It's been here, it's been a long time coming, but it's been around for many years, and it looks like everything has reached a new tier, a new level. That's right. And it's really unstoppable. That's right. And I just want to encourage all of you to devote yourself to righteousness, because I think it was the prophet, I believe it was Hosea, says, behold, O man, has been told to you what is good and what is right is to love mercy and walk humbly before your God. And this is what Enoch was, and we need to live like he did. He was a man, as it says in the Hebrew tongue, he hithalech im Elohim. That means he walked humbly or walked with God. And that means we must walk with God and be righteous and be spiritual in all our actions and the way we treat one another. This is what's important, because through the violation of the law, this is why and how we went into captivity in the United States of America. The worst captivity we ever went through. We've been through many captivities. There was Egypt, there was Babylon, there was Assyria, there was Greece, there was Rome, and United States of America, total destruction of the black man. But now, once we get on the right course, we need to follow it and pursue it. Pursue righteousness. That will save us. When we are righteous, nobody can subdue us. Yes. And when you read the scripture, you read about the story of Balaam. He couldn't just curse Israel because Israel was righteous.
That's right.
And he tried to get Balaam to Balak. He tried to get Balaam to curse Israel, and he couldn't find no sin or iniquity among Jacob.
That's right.
Therefore, he had to back up and said, "If you gave me my whole house of silver and gold, I cannot curse Israel."
That's right. That's right.
We cannot curse whom God has blessed.
That's right.
So I just want to thank you all, and I enjoyed myself immensely today, and I hope that we can have a relationship from now on into the future.
Amen.
I thank you.
Hey, y'all know how famous this brother is? You know how famous that brother is? You know how famous that brother is? That brother right there. That brother right there. And we thank the Lord for that brother right there. I tell you. the Spirit on you to come up with this book, and you have many volumes. You've helped us immensely, immensely.
Thank you.
This book right here is helping us so much in understanding the diaspora of our people scattered. And we thank you, and we thank the Lord for endowing you with that understanding.
And I brought some books with me today if anyone care to get some.
Oh, yes. Be seated, be seated. Hey, Shalom Israel, all praise to the Most High, Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ, here in Atlanta. We have a special guest, Rudolph Windsor, the famous author of From Babylon to Timbuktu and several other volumes he has written. And he came here to introduce himself, and we wanted to introduce him. All of you know him. You may have never met him, but he's here in Atlanta. Introduce yourself to everybody. Let us know about you.
Yes, well, my name is Rudolph Windsor, and I was originally born in Long Branch, New Jersey, back in 1935, and I once heard a rabbi, a black rabbi it was, who came on radio when I was listening to him in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and he was saying that the black people in the United States of America are the true Israelites. We're black people and we're the true Israelites. So immediately that sparked my attention, and I said to my brother Cole, I said, let's go over there right now where he was broadcasting from. And we joined up with the movement at that time. This was back in 1953.
All praises.
And yeah, so we learned history. I was still in high school at that time, and we were learning black history and so forth about the Israelites. And I went to school, and I asked him, my homeroom teacher was a history teacher, and I said to her, was King Solomon a black man? She looked at me with a strange, evil look, and she said, he had a little nigger blood in him. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, eventually I moved to Philadelphia in 1955 and studied Hebrew language and more Hebrew history and culture and so forth, you know, and I raised my family there, and in 1992 I moved down to Atlanta, Georgia area.
And you've been, since 92, you've been out here in Atlanta?
Since 92, yes.
In your book, Babylon to Timbuktu, that's one of the favorite books. I want you to go into, because you go into a lot of history regarding Israel along the west coast of Africa. Talk to us about that.
Yes. Well, you know, the migrations of the Israelites, you know, as I point out in my book, it started, well, you know, the first African nation that had Israelites was Egypt. What we're talking about when it comes to the volume or the amount of large numbers that existed was Egypt. That's in Africa. So we have the first nation in Africa having Israelites in Ethiopia, because Moses was, according to Josephus, Moses was a general in Pharaoh's army, and he fought wars in Ethiopia, so they were very familiar, but Israelites was all in that area. Then after the Babylonian, the Syrian invasion, and the Persian invasion, Greek and Roman invasions of Palestine, many of the Israelites fled into Africa, all parts of Africa, from into Ethiopia, Egypt, Libya, and in fact, Philo and Josephus says there were over 1 million Hebrews in Egypt, and between Ethiopia and Libya, and that was around the turn of the second millennium, around let's see, yeah, well, during the time of you know, Jesus of Nazareth in the Roman period, you see, and so we have.
So that was after 70 AD.
Well, this was before leading up to 70 AD and extending onward. You see, because the Roman period started first during the incursions of General Pompey, yes, and which took place around 65 BC. You see, right? So the Roman occupation continued there in Palestine until until the Muslim powers came in. I guess that was around the 625, 640, when they conquered Egypt when the Muslims conquered Egypt at that time. So then these Israelites began to penetrate deeper into the Sahara Desert, below the Sahara Desert, across North Africa to Morocco, even in Spain and Portugal. Black Jews all up in there.
That's right.
They're all in France and different parts of Russia. You see, and then these black Hebrews penetrated down deep beyond below the Sahara Desert into those West African countries which you spoke about.
Right.
Such as Ghana, which is the ancient, one of the earliest empires, Hebrew empires on the west coast of Africa. Then you had such countries as the Sangay Empire, which was a very large empire, which included countries like Nigeria, parts of Ivory Coast, Mali, and many adjacent areas. You see, and it's all, as I state in the book. This information is documented by many scholars, black and white.
Let me ask you this, because there's two trains of thought that I've heard people say. Some people have made the claim that some Israelites still are on the West Coast. Some Israelites say they're all gone out of there. So what do you think the validity? You think that there's still some there?
Oh yes. I haven't been to the West Coast of Africa. I've been to South Africa, and I met the Hebrews down there called the Limbas.
Yes.
And I met them there, and in fact I was invited over to South Africa by Samuel Mawedi, who is now deceased, may he rest in peace. He was in the parliament of at the time that Mandela was in office, and he was a Hebrew, and he's from the Limba tribe. And I was a guest of his. He is over there for about 2 weeks. There's other Israelites in the country just north of that. I believe it's Zambia. I believe it is. Okay. I think that's Zambia, and that's the Limba tribe. And there in Nigeria, there are the Igbos, the Igbos in Hebrew, and evidently you know French then, right?
Yeah. I understand, but I don't speak.
In fact, the word Ebo, I don't know if you heard this, but Ebo, that's the way you say Hebrew. The way you say in French.
Oh, okay.
You say Ebo. It means Hebrew.
Okay.
You see? Gotcha. So a lot of Israelites in southern Nigeria, and in the country next door used to be called Dahomey.
Right, I've read about Dahomey.
Yeah, but now called Benin. In fact, that word Benin is a corruption or contraction from the Hebrew word Benaim Ephraim, which means the children of Ephraim.
Now that's in your book.
Yes.
I came across it. I was like, wow.
Yeah, you remember that.
That's right.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
You have been an excellent researcher, in this time. I have not met anyone your equal when it comes to researching Israelite history from times past. So outside of your book, it's just the Bible. We got Bible, Josephus, of course, Pharaoh, as you mentioned, and I think a few others. But in terms of modern day, I have not met your equal when it comes to research on Israel, the diaspora of Israel. You've done a phenomenal work, and we thank the Lord and definitely give all praises. Now, you mentioned that there is another book that you're working on. Not working, you finished. But before we get to Barak and Deborah, because I want to get to that.
Okay.
But you did Valley of the Dry Bones.
Yes.
Now, go into that a little bit for us.
Okay, the Valley of the Dry Bones really speaks to the issue of the conditions that face black people in America. It deals with the crime, it deals with the, after the Civil War in 1865, the Reconstruction period, the 13th Amendment gave citizenship to the American black man. 14th Amendment gave him a right to vote, and the 15th Amendment to the Constitution gave him a right to hold public office. But all that was taken away. You see, by the Ku Klux Klan and other white right-wing extremist groups into this country.
Right.
In fact, it only lasts from about 1867 until about we'll say 1880, and then the Ku Klux Klan and other extremist groups just took over, and that began the mass incarceration of black boys and men in the United States of America. If they terrorized them through, at the polls, you see, didn't allow them black people to vote. And in one case is very interesting. They would put up restriction on voting, or made the voting qualifications very rigid for black people. For example, in one particular case, a black man went to vote in the South, and they gave him some Latin to read, and he read the Latin, and they told him, you know what this means? He said, yeah. He explained to him what it meant. The black man, the white man did, and then he gave him something written in Greek, and he asked him, do you know what this is? And he said, you know what it means? He said, yeah. He told him what it meant.
Wow.
And then he said, gave him Chinese to read. He asked him, he said, you know what this means? He said, yes, I know what it means. It means you don't want me to vote.
Yes, that's exactly it.
So during that period of time, they used to, if they saw a black boy standing on the street corner, they would just come and just lift them and arrest them and take them to jail and accuse them of vagary and being of illicit, just being wanderers and like a vagabond, you see what I mean? And so they put them in jail, and they would hire them out to companies. You see what I mean? The state would hire them out to companies, you see, the chain gangs and so forth, chain gang labor and so forth.
Right.
A lot of that went on, you see, and that's almost like the same thing they do in the day too.
Yes.
They arrest a black person and on crumped up charges or very small charges and give them 15 or 20 years in prison, when they give a white boy only 1 or 2 years in prison, or if they do that.
Correct.
You see?
Correct. Okay, so Babylon Timbuktu, Valley of Dry Bones. Now, was there only one part to that Valley of Dry Bones?
No, there's other subjects in that book also. It deals with the impending war that's going to be coming in the Middle East, with the invasion of Russia and certain Islamic states into the Middle East. And it deals with it tells about the prophecy of the nations. For example, Libyan Persians, you see,
yes,
and the invasion of Palestine, and etc. And it tells about that we black people in America are the Israelites. And it gives proof from that from the scriptures. Breaks down the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy. And you see, explaining that we are the Israelites based on the curses and so forth. You see, and so that's like the signs. It gives all the signs of that who we are, biblical signs, and from a biblical standpoint.
Right, right. So now, after that book, you wrote what?
I wrote the Judea Trembles Under Rome, which is out of print right now.
Out of print.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I always hear a lot of talk about that, but every time I look for it, does say out of print. Okay. So when do you think there'll be a new?
Well, I just have to get the time to revive it. I don't want to bring it out again because I've discovered a lot of additional information. Right. So I don't want to bring it out until I can get a chance to insert this other information in there.
Okay. Okay. So now, if I'm not mistaken, the next book you did after that is what, the one you and your wife were working on, or was there something between that?
Well, there was something between that. When is the next war?
Okay.
Yeah, that deals in depth about the Armageddon war. And the invasion of Israel by surrounding nations, and by the European powers, and by the certain indigenous Middle Eastern states also.
Okay.
It deals with those subjects.
And then after that, you wrote?
And the last one was Barack and the Boy United.
Right, now that's the one I heard the interview with you and your wife.
Okay.
Now your wife's not here today.
No, she's not here today.
Now you also made mention that you're making that into a play.
Yeah, we have already wrote it into a play.
Oh, okay.
We're just going to now in coming months now we get more time to work along with that so we can produce it. You know, it means finding cast and people learning their parts, you know, to various different parts.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what it entails, and you know, I would say that's the major job that, you know, in promoting it. That's the main job. You know.
Right.
And that way we can people can be able to go to a play and see live black people on stage playing in a play in a biblical setting, you see, and that's part of our history, you see, and that's very important, you know what I mean, because, you know, we need to use all kinds of medias that we can to spread our message out to the masses of the people.
That's right. That's right. Now, my next question, how did you find out, I don't know if it was Brother Justin or what, how did you find out about Israel United in Christ?
He called me.
He called, oh, so he knows you.
Well, he did. I guess he began to search the web. Oh,
okay.
On the internet, you know. But over the years, I've been hearing from different times about Israel United in Christ. You know, when you're also very active in having a demonstration in New York City not too long ago.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Of course, we heard about that.
So now you and several of your brothers came to visit us today. And I was shocked when they said, hey, because the picture I got of you, I don't know what year that picture is in your book. I don't know what year that was. Yeah. I said, he looked for me very much. They said, that's Rudolph Windsor. I said, oh, man. So when you were here, right, what did you see when you got here? What is your perspective of what we're doing here?
Well, I thought it was very impressive. I thought it was a good work, you know, and I realized that, you know, compared to a lot of Israelites, I mean, y'all were relatively young, but you seem to be very progressive and very, you know, assertive and vocal in what you're doing. And of course, naturally at this time too, this is well needed because of the state of the world is in, the state of Black America is in today. You know, and I like the emphasis that you put on the strong family, strong black men. That's very important. And teaching the law and teaching respect, you know, because our children, I mean, our kids today, they don't have no respect for none of that. And that's another reason why they get shot down so quick, because of the behavioral pattern, you know what I mean? You know, other nationalities, you know, you don't hear them shooting down Indians or Asians and Chinese, you know. They too busy organizing and setting up businesses, you know, all around, you know what I mean? So we need to do things that people will respect us too.
Right.
So once they see we behave in an organized fashion and we govern and we controlling our kids and teaching them, and just don't let them get out here and just use all kinds of crazy vulgar language and so forth. And study and learn about themselves and their history and their culture, and trying to establish businesses. This is what's important.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And we need to be examples. Each one of us as men, we need to be examples to all our children that we have, so that you know, they can grow up fine young men, respected young men, educated young men, and so they can use their energies in positive ways, in constructive ways.
Right.
This is so necessary in this day and time, and this will save our kids from moral decay and social destruction.
Right. You know what I love about what you said, because you made mention earlier about the coming war of Armageddon. So although you know the war is coming, you still say the black man and our women, we need to get ourselves together. We need to do better, become better role models, examples, establish our own economics, our businesses. We got to do these things, and with the same time understanding destruction is coming. Okay, and the reason I stress that, because there's some trains of thought that says, since destruction is coming, don't do anything, just let things stay the way it is, and I think that's wrong.
Right.
You know, because even according to what you're saying, we still have to provide and do the things necessary as men, as Israelite men, for our people, until Messiah returns.
Right. You see, a lot is on us. You know, we need to also have farms.
Yes.
And grow our own food.
No, you heard we read today about the rat meat. They said the boneless chicken wings have been rat meat in this country for years. I'm shocked. So you're right. We do need our own. We need our own farms.
We got our own farms.
Wow.
Grow our own food, raise our own chickens. We need all that. We need to be. We need to become entrepreneurs. You see, so we can reduce our incarceration rate, and when our kids can't, when other folks don't want to hire our youth and our people, we hire our own.
That's right.
You
All
see?
praises.
And
everybody telling y'all that I've been saying the same thing.
There's a store up here on this is State Road out here called State Road 85. You live in this area?
No, sir. I'm from
No, I live in this area.
You know State Road. You know there's a like Japanese restaurant here called Buffet.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Is he owned by all Orientals? And who works in there? All Orientals, don't they?
Yeah.
All Orientals working there. You see, I guess they're Chinese or Japanese or whoever they are. You know what I mean? And everybody go in there and patronize them. And they make gobs of money. They're always full to capacity.
So we need that for our own community.
We need it. We need
We
it.
definitely do need that.
Definitely more than one too.
Yes.
Economics. See, and then when we get into economics, we will have the financial fuel to promote our institutions,
Right.
all our institutions that we have. Whether these institutions are our schools, our colleges, or whether they are our nursing homes or our hospitals, you see, or whether or not we need to sponsor scholarships for the young men and women to go on, to become doctors and lawyers, just like the other nationalities. And the Indians, I mean, they really taking over this country. The Indians. If someone would say at the rate of speed that they out beating all immigrant groups, I would say, in the United States of America. Of course, I realize that Hispanics, they all over the United States too, but but those Indians, they getting into the high echelon of everything.
Yes, right.
Doctors, lawyers, journalists.
Exactly.
You take it. They're there, professors.
Exactly. Those East Indians, we see them out. The Pakistanis, see it a lot. Definitely see it a lot.
Yeah.
And they in New York, they take those jobs, cab driver jobs, a lot of them, but they pull their money together.
That's what they do.
And they pull their money and build these institutions that you're talking about, and they bring their people over, and they work well together. And that's what the Bible is going to do for our people. They have to be born again in their mind and learn how to work well together without trying to rob each other, take from each other, deal right, love one another.
That's right.
That's what we need. We definitely need it. In the Israelite community, now you've been New York, Jersey, Atlanta, many other places.
Yeah, Israel.
Right.
Israel twice.
What do you see in the Israelite community, that the pros and cons, what do we need to be doing more?
We need to put more emphasis. We need to continue what you're doing here is teaching the people to unite the families, to become good fathers, and to become good husbands, you see, and we need to produce strong families. And we need to engage more in economics too, because without economics, a lot of our resources and monies are lost. It creates poverty in our communities and enrich other communities. You see, so we need more self-help program where we establish our own businesses and hire our own people so we can become self-sufficient, and this will reduce the incarceration rate in this country and juvenile delinquency, and we'll have more respect for one another because we'll have more, and the children will grow up with fathers and they'll have respect for elders and fathers and everything. All these things are needed. And the Torah, which is the law which Moses received on Mount Sinai, is the prime example, because in the laws in Deuteronomy it says, you shall teach your children as you sittest in the house, as you lies down, as you rises up, as you walkest by the way.
Yes.
You see, and so you got to teach. And if you don't teach, how are the children going to know what right from wrong is? You see,
That's great. That's why we need brothers your age to show younger men the proper way, because what you're saying is biblical, is scriptural, is 100% fact. And I love it. I definitely love it.
Yes. and we need more respect for our women, you know, and we need to, men need to be taught how to be good husbands, to take their responsibility, to accept responsibility. You see what I mean? And that's what's being a man.
Yes, yes.
Working hard, studying, taking care of family, and taking care of responsibility, doing the duties that we're supposed to do, and to do things together with the community. And if we want to reduce crime in the community, then we got to have community watches and so forth. And we must go to the young men in the black neighborhoods, you see, and talk to those brothers. You know, tell them this is what you need to do, and we must be living examples.
Yes.
We must, as adult men, we must be examples for those young boys.
Yes.
And if you know, and if they don't have nobody to teach them, then how are they going to know right from wrong?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You know, so it's been an honor and a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
I tell you.
My pleasure too.
The pleasure's mine. Something y'all want to say? So, Mr. Windsor, thank you so much for visiting Israel United in Christ. Now, did you ever get a Hebrew name?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yehuda Maccabee.
Yehuda
Maccabee.
Maccabee. Ah, see that? That's right.
Wow.
See that? Now that's bad. That's beautiful right there. All praises. All right, all
I
right.
chose that name way back in the 50s.
Oh man, oh, fantastic. All praises to the Most High.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join iuic will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.